Jody O'Brien, you see that? He's with North Lakeland?
Yeah.
Perfect.
He's chatting. She doesn't have a mic.
Mike Leahy's on too. Mike, if you could identify where you're from eventually, that'd be good.
Tampa Dynamo FC.
Okay, I've got it. Thank you.
Okay. I'm trying to share this. I'm trying to get control over to you, Sherry.
I mean, if you can't figure it out, then you just.
Yeah, I had it figured out the last time, but it's been a month since I.
I know. Just go, you can just pull up the website and it's under about and then minutes.
Yeah. All right, let me do that. It'd be easier.
We've got a picture of Ashley Holmes. Do you see that, Sherry?
I see that, yes.
Not Ashley Holmes, but it's somebody who would just identify your club. I wonder if he knows that Ashley Holmes is appearing as his name. He must, right? Jerry?
See what we see.
Greg, you see the picture next to mine?
Yes.
That's the one. That's the only one we got to identify, I guess, as far as attending.
I thought that was in the. Oh, that was Jody, huh?
Jody was down below.
Right.
And there's a Mike Leahy down. That could be Jody too. I don't know. There's 3 shots on the chat. So.
Ashley, can you hear what's going on?
Yeah,
What club are you with?
Ovendale Scream.
Excellent.
Got it, thank
Got
you.
it? All right.
Thank you.
He said, open the screen to know that
I got something going crazy with this, with the site in this here. It won't stop.
if you look at it, you can. Put in a video.
All right, let me get this. All right, let me go here. We can't do this again. Every time she goes there, that logs that up. No.
Is this the
I don't know why this is doing this.
not an issue? Let's keep moving and keep working.
I'll get to it.
Most importantly, that though we get the banking stuff in. Of the next, we've got the secretary's report. I don't think anybody's got anything. Alan, you're not secretary anymore anyway, are you? You're the
No, sir.
girls, yeah. And the position's vacant. We don't have a report. But the treasurer, do you have any totals now, Greg? Sherry, did you get with him? You did.
Yes, and those are posted as well on the website.
Okay.
I'm gonna try something real quick to see if I can pull this screen up on this end, but I don't know if it's gonna work. But let me try. So bear with me 1 second.
I'm afraid to log out and get on it.
I don't think I can control it from my side. I thought maybe I could.
Can you see it though? Give me the bank balance as of the 31st. That's really the most important thing.
I might have,
Main account.
I've got. I don't even have to do that. Hold on.
I'm just asking. I think that's really out of these reports. That's the one that matters. That's the only one.
I have this sitting here. This is the agenda.
I can pull it up even though you can't see it, so I'm getting there.
That's all right. Just get it just reported, and that's what we need.
Yeah, okay. Be there in 2 minutes.
If it's on the website for people to see, but for our
On the website, and I'm sorry, what was your question? You wanted the bank balance?
yeah, the principal bank. In other words, the account. We have 2 accounts.
Yep.
The one account where we what's the total of those 2 checking accounts?
Okay. I'm pulling up the balance sheet right now.
And that should be the 31st. Have you got a tie out from the 31st, Greg?
Yes,
Okay.
and I had it I had it here, but I got logged out.
Oh, I got knocked out too.
This worked great in in December. Well, I guess I'm asking a lot of questions here. Too, but. Is it on the? But it's up to date on the website.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to Mexico then. Alright.
I'm gonna do it a different way.
Oh, come on. All right, let me get this.
What do I need to hit on the site, Sherry?
Let's go to, we're gonna go to the About, and then Financial Information, and then click on the balance sheet. And so what?
Can you see that, Paul?
No,
Okay, hold
I'm
on.
almost in.
All right, hold on.
This just happened?
All right, hold on a second. And where are we? How's that, Paul?
Does anybody else see it? Am I missing it?
I don't see anything.
Okay, hold on. Where the hell is it? Okay. You can't see that, huh?
Now,
Yes.
now I do.
Yes.
There it
You
is.
got it.
It's up.
Okay,
Right
there
there.
you go.
I see it.
Okay.
All right, so we still got about 110,000 left at the end of December. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Are we going to have the budget versus that soon, Greg, as far as being able to get it online like this?
I've got that right now. I just have to get into QuickBook and put the report out there for you. Hold on.
Well, I already posted it. It's up there.
Okay. Oh, you do? Okay, great, great. Then I'm not even going to look. I haven't looked. All right, but the financials, 110, we're 6 months through. Sherry, in your opinion, the next 6 months should be roughly the same or less, correct?
Correct. I would expect the expenses will go down slightly,
All right.
particularly after March, when we don't have referee expenses. April, there's virtually no expenses. And then
But we'll still have we'll still be racking up the clerical, but that's about all.
just admin fees, basically, at that point.
So
And then
that-
the only
I'll
other,
take a look at the, I'll go in and look at the budget, but we should be way at this point. We should be in pretty good shape financially, as far as I figure. That's 110 left for the next 6 months, which we should be able to make that run, unless we're paying for those rooms ahead of time. But I mean, that's not, that's nothing. All right, Greg, if you can't get that, it doesn't matter right now, Greg, but we'll look. At least we've got the balances. That's what I'm most important.
Okay, hang on.
Breakdown of the budget is interesting, but this is vital.
Correct.
All right, all right.
and I was able to pull up the profit and loss if you did want to know any specifics on expenses.
Yeah, I would. I mean, if you can, but it's up, but it is on the site for everyone, just so you guys understand that, so everyone knows. You know, if you got to review that, we keep it on the site.
Yeah,
I didn't look this month yet. That's why.
yeah.
I'm getting the same thing, Greg. That's good, though. I mean,
This is July through December, so start of season through December 31st. Total income taken in 133,703. Total expenses 79,533, leaving a net of 54,170 from July 1st through December 31st.
why then is there 110 showing in the account? That's what did we have a,
Carryover. I think it's a carryover from the previous
okay.
season.
Okay. So really, we've got 60 left, and that is still about, that makes more sense, does it not? That's about right as far as the budget goes.
Yes, I believe so. Mhm.
Well, if we start with 133, I think we budgeted 125, I think, on the actual budget. So we've collected about 8 more, and our burn rate's, pretty even. So it's 60, we've got 10,000 a month, which should be not a problem as far as any of the anticipated expenses.
Correct.
Plus, we'll have a little bit at the end of the year, some sort of surplus. We'll see. With what we do, we aren't including the any of the the Liverpool deal cost us something last year. Awards, those are all in there budgeted, but that's all going to come out of. That's all yet to come. Correct.
Yes.
And the Joan Judd, and what do we got, 5 or 10 in that? So that's not all right. Okay. All right. Let's keep moving then. Any other things to report? Any VP's got anything unusual out there as far as the boys, Mike, the boys, juniors, seniors? We know right now we're off.
Nothing on the juniors. All seems to be going okay.
Mm-hmm. We have a couple of things in the executive session to take a look at, but that's about it, right?
Yep.
Alan, how about the girls? Anything there at all of note?
The girls? That's Steve.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your senior boys. Well,
Senior,
you're
yes.
off right now. Okay. All right.
Yes.
And Steve, the guy that's in there, doesn't have a Steve report, although I talked to Steve yesterday. He didn't have anything really, or 2 days ago. He didn't really have anything at that point for us as far as complaints. Sherry, this weekend, I noticed the emails from this weekend were very thin. Did we just have an unusually wonderful weekend as far as problems?
The only problems was some field closures because of the weather.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't see
Other
anything.
than that,
It's unusual for a whole weekend to not have somebody
yeah.
so
So
get
far,
or die.
yet.
No fights. No, I mean, it was really very almost unusually calm.
Well, the junior season is always less chaotic than this season. But no, only one red card that I'm aware of as well this whole weekend.
Yeah, and we're still telling everybody, review that red card site, because that's the one place where we have had some difficulty this year. To reiterate to everybody out there that's attending the meeting, not the board, that red card site continues to be an issue, because when the method we use to sign this off, and the ref's got to go back in there, and you got to be sure when a kid serves a red card at the game to get it marked and get it into the website. Otherwise, we're fighting it the next weekend, and it's been the one, Sherry, I think that's probably the one consistent thing where we've had 6 or 7 issues this year on that red card, on served red cards that didn't appear to be served.
Correct. Just because we didn't know that they were served.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. We're not. We know now there's a difficulty. Is that the P&L I'm seeing?
Yeah.
You put that up now. You put that up.
Also, just to finish that discussion, I did go through this past week, and I made sure I cross-referenced against everything I had received for the red card reports, against what was posted on the website, against Scott Soccer, So to my knowledge, what's showing now as far as being outstanding is completely 100% accurate, which means that if you see that you have a player on that list, you have to send in the report, because I have no other way of knowing that they served it.
You know,
Just to reiterate to everybody,
on that point, Region Cup is asking for a list of players that would have red cards when Region Cup starts, so that they can track it from their side, because they got no way of knowing who has to serve red cards or who don't have to.
did the red cards from our season go into the Region Cup?
Well, yeah, because that's what they wanted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do they, Alan? Okay.
Yes.
I thought that the cups were all by themselves, Mike. I thought they were a unit unto themselves.
No, they wanted they asked me for a list of players that are still serving red cards, so that they can make sure that those.
Well, as it gets closer, we should have an easy. I mean, we've got an easy list to send them as we get to the site. You can just give them the cards that we are in there.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that, Alan. How do you know that? That's a fact, huh?
Yeah, because I had it affect me one year. Yes.
Okay.
So who would we supply that information to, Mike? Do you know? Do you have a contact?
Jennifer Smith is the one that asked for it.
Okay.
But not yet. I mean, we've got.
No, not yet. When Region Cup starts.
Yes. So we got 2 months, and more or less.
No, Region Cup starts
next month.
The seniors start the 27th of February.
Yeah, and the juniors are before that, I think.
Okay, so we got a month and a half for the senior. Okay.
Yes.
You know, it's hard to be impossible almost for the seniors to burn any off at this point. Correct, Mike?
Correct. Yeah.
Or Alan,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They won't get any matches in where they can burn.
Well, they'll try and get some matches in, but.
Well, I guess everybody out there, if you think you've got people, then you better get a match in somehow to burn it off. It isn't that simple either. You've got to schedule it and whatnot. So, geez, that could be a problem, couldn't it? For somebody. All right. Well, that red card thing, you know the problems I hope everybody does, but we've had problems this year with it as far as the making sure that as the kids served, that someone had marked it off. We had one where the writing was too light, if you remember, Sherry, and put it into the system, the ref did, and that's that creates real problems for some of these kids, and we don't want to go into the Region Cup. You don't want to be penalizing them for if we're not sure they're right.
Correct. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, if everybody takes a look at it and gets the stuff cleaned up before the day of the game,
Yeah. Well, maybe when we get closer, Mike, or Alan, more to the point for the seniors, do you think we should at least look at the clubs and maybe bump them out another email, Sherry, at least who's on there, and say, you got kids that are on there?
Sure, I can do that.
Or Greg, but to remind them one more time, you've got kids with red cards, and
right.
And that is going to affect them for the Region Cup. Just to remind them, I don't know what they can do about it, but at least we won't have.
Okay.
The kid won't show up at the match and not be able to play, which is really, really terrible. All right, this is the balance sheet. I guess I'm looking at now, right, Greg?
Yeah, it's from July 1st through today. The only thing that's not in there, and I really don't know why. I guess I'll get it in the merchant account that comes in at the end of the month, is the software price for Zoom.
Yeah, but that wasn't that was not allowed.
No, it's $150 or something like
When
that.
you guys Sherry and Greg, you reclassified those payroll.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Okay. Everything's all right.
That's all where we need it to be. All right, fine. Next. Hold on. Let me get back to the. Sherry, I don't know how I should have printed this out. I don't know how to get back to the. Are you looking at the
agenda?
Yes.
I can get you up here.
Greg can pull it up.
No, that's all right. Let's just keep. What's the next topic?
It's right here. It's right here, Paul. You got it there?
yet, but I'm trying to get it on my phone.
Here, I have it.
It's right there. It should be on the screen.
Okay, so the next
No,
thing,
it's not.
It's not up on the screen? Oh, okay, hang on.
All right.
Hang
So
on.
what's the next thing?
the next item is just, you've kind of already discussed it, new business, online format for monthly meetings.
Yeah, and this is, all right, look, folks, this is choppy, and we'll get better at it. We had one kind of rollout. In December, it really was smooth. We'll figure this stuff out. But this beats driving to one central point by about 1 million miles, even if this will take a couple months maybe to get a little smoother. But this is infinitely easier than us trying to get down to the airport at 7 o'clock on a Wednesday night on the second Wednesday of the month. So this is going to be it from now on. We'll have a couple of get-togethers, probably the AGM, probably the what do you call it? That's the coaches' meetings. I don't anticipate a lot more events, and I think even appeals we can probably do this way. Greg,
Yes, sir.
if you were to do this tomorrow night, can you now do this and tell someone with an appeal plus the board of directors and get them back into this
Sure.
easily?
I can now.
Okay.
The problem is just re-navigating, getting to the different applications.
Maybe if we start a half hour earlier and tuck around with it a little bit too, or something. Or
Yeah,
I'll do whatever you need.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
All right. Well, let's get. But this format, just to go, is the future. We'll get better at it. I'll get better at it, and we'll all, this will be smoother. But the information is either on the website or here with us, as far as what we need to, what all of us need to know as far as our playing coalition. Other than that, how about you guys? Anything else out there with the board? Go to the game, anything? Mike?
Nothing from me, no.
Brian, nothing?
No, I'm good.
All right. Guy?
Nope.
All right. All right. Alan, you're good? Well, we discussed
Good.
one thing. Nothing else out there, though, huh? We just
No,
started
not
up
now.
last weekend. It was pretty, like I said, it was pretty mellow weekend. Let's hope for more of them. Then let's right away adjourn the regular meeting, and we'll go to the executive committee. And I don't think it matters if people are on for that. Do you guys? I know at one point we used to try and make that a closed meeting, but I don't know that that's necessary, or is it? How about you, Merritt? What do you think?
Well, the only opinion is that the spectators, as you want to call them, they do not have a voice.
Yeah, but we used to, when we had the meetings, people would stay. You didn't talk, but people would stay. It wasn't like it was a secret affair. It's an open, and it should be an open piece of information.
Sometimes with an audience, people don't say the things that maybe should be said.
Okay.
So I don't know. And then the other thing is we do get, outside input that maybe, is not warranted, is the only thing I'm pointing out.
Yeah. Well, Frank was fairly adamant. Sherry, am I correct in assuming that Frank was fairly adamant about it on the website, not having everybody on for the executive committee? But I sat through, when I wasn't on the board, I sat through 20 or 30 of them. I didn't see, and anybody that wanted to stay could stay. So I don't see that's something we need. They got to be muted, but I don't see that there's anything wrong with having those people on there. Does anybody have an objection to it? Any of the board?
Well, I guess you can just mute the attendee.
They're muted now. I mean, more or less.
Exactly.
But,
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, because it doesn't make. We're not doing anything, or we shouldn't be doing anything that's out of the norm. All right. All right. So let's go into the executive committee. Let's not waste any more time. Everybody ready for that? We don't need a 5-minute break like we used to take at the hotel. Let's just get in. Can you get us the minutes of the last executive committee meeting, Greg?
Okay.
Sorry, Greg.
I had the USA site up, and now I don't know what happened to it. Let's see if I can get this here with all this garbage.
Well, this is an area we'll work on before the next meeting.
Yeah,
Well, it's really the first meeting we've had.
Where's the meeting? The meeting minutes are under about.
Under about, And if we can just figure out how to share the screen, then, I can have it pulled up while Greg's doing something else, we can work.
Oh, I get you. Very good.
I know I can swap this.
Yeah, but no worries. Just
Let me
to
figure
make it a little more efficient next time.
Yes, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
that's very good.
We did this the last time, and we swapped the screens around between the two of us.
Mhm.
And I'm just.
Well, we'll figure that out before the next meeting, so we're able. Sherry will have it on. We'll be able to switch to, and we'll have some order for it. It'll be the financial information, the minutes first, the financial information, and then the minutes of the executive committee. And then today,
All right, Sherry, you got it now.
Oh, okay. So,
Now all you got to do is I can stop my share. All you need to do is start at the bottom where it says share screen, hit that, and then go to the website.
at the bottom, share screen. This,
The little green box there.
right? I hit it.
Okay. Then it should come up with quite a few options there.
Okay.
Do you have
Share
your?
screen. Share screen.
Yeah, is your US?
all right, I see it.
USA wasn't part of it there.
Yeah, hold on.
There
Can you see that?
you
Yeah,
go.
I'm getting the screen directly. This is great.
Okay.
That's good.
You asked
Good.
me minutes, correct?
Excellent.
Okay.
Very good. Very good.
Maybe. Because we're getting. For some reason, when we try to share it, I can't open it, which doesn't make any sense. Get to the website, right? You can see that?
Right.
Yeah.
But when I try to open up the attachment, for some reason, it doesn't open for you to see it. But I can tell you, actually, you know what? I can just pull it up regular. Hold on one second. I have it right here. Is this my, yeah. No, that's the agenda. Minute. These are the minutes from last month, which you had asked for, right here. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is starting here. This is last month. There was no protests and appeals, no hearings. And then as far as old business, we talked about the referee mentoring program. And then we dealt with, the big thing last month was the club pass player rule change. And then of course we dealt with some individual game issues.
Mhm.
That was last month.
Let's just just to put a fine point on this, the rule change or the age change, which is a big deal. There is a convention this month. It's USY. I guess it's USYSA, right, guys? Am I correct in assuming that? And they're supposed to put a fine point on exactly how that's going to be implemented, because as we know now, there are 4 or 5 really interesting questions that obviously nobody has thought about that's going to implement it. So we should come out of that meeting. Frank Villazin's there and Rocky's there too, Mike. So between the two of them, we should come out with some definitive explanation as to how they really are going to format that for us next year. There's everything from I think Kai suggested phasing it in, and I think somebody's got that idea up there that we phase it in from 9s and 10s and let the others go. We call it by the year, it'll be 98s, 99s, and they'll let the older kids play out, et cetera. I don't see us going to the under 6s or under 9s, under 10s, under 11s, because that is for us going to be enormously confusing, because we play in 2 calendar years, and that's the questions we had for them. So by next month, we should have a much better idea, and we'll get that out to everybody. That's the biggest thing. Now let's get on to, so everybody, have I got approval? We got anybody, somebody please, make a motion to approve the minutes.
Approve the minutes, Mark does.
All right, second?
Second, Mike Connell.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All right.
Aye.
All right, good. We're through. Let's start with our own agenda today. Protest and appeals. We've got Minnesota and that WWF. Does everyone understand that one? I don't know that we can hear. Can we hear that tonight with Esther? Are we going to do that tonight?
I think you had said, Paul, that we would schedule a date to do it.
That's what, Esther, so you know, we'll schedule a date and we'll all get on. Because, but just to note, is everyone familiar with what happened? I think we are. It was a very unusual thing, and we really had to get to a lot of people to figure, to see exactly what the rules were, the FIFA rules. Is there anybody that's not familiar with it?
This is the request.
This is the one where the ref was in and called a foul.
No, he didn't call it.
Well, he blew the whistle according to him. Now we need to get Esther. What we're going to do is get the center ref, that's who we talked to about this, and then he was the one that confirmed. We have this YouTube thing, Esther, but YouTube is not really something that we can use as evidentiary. So that's out of the question. You can look at it if you want.
Yeah, we saw it. Yeah, and it wasn't.
The point was that it was according to the ref, and just so you know, he says it was play on. They played. West Florida scored. Am I keeping this correct? I've got an outline of it actually here. West Florida scored.
Yeah, well, he had called a foul, and the other players continued to play. Even the field marshal had agreed that the referee had called a foul. So that's why the play had stopped. That's what
according to the referee, and we're not going to do it here, Esther, but according to the referee, and that's all we have in this thing other than everybody's opinion, that as he went on, he had, and I think Merritt was the one, didn't you, Merritt? Didn't he have the play on signal in the?
Well, our concern was that he had already put it down on paper, and how can he go back and change it without acknowledging everyone? I mean, he had already made a call. How can you? Why? You're probably wondering why we gave West Florida the goal. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Why we were going to be satisfied with leaving it at the way it was.
Yes, because they scored. Here was our thing. Now we'll have a hearing on this, and we'll vote on it again. Why we gave them the goal back though was they scored. But they scored under the reasoning that our players had stopped. Well, but that's not what the ref said. He said play on.
But that's not what he put on paper. Did you see that? Well, we can discuss it later, but that's not what was put on the game report. So he can go back and change it. Yeah. But he called it. Apparently, it was called. The information we got again from the ref is to say it was a goal. But even the field marshal had agreed that he had called a foul and the game had stopped. So our concern was. Well, he restarted the game in the center as if they scored. So he obviously, or we thought. Well, he goes back and says that he did, but he didn't at the actual game. And so when you go back to we just want to have it fair, for both teams. Both kids, both teams, they work hard. And we hadn't protested it because it was a tie, so we were just going to leave it at that. This way it was fair for each team. The referee was horrible, for one, which we
Well,
understand.
yeah, but that's always. I
Hey,
mean,
Paul,
everyone we
Paul,
have.
Paul, let's, as a point of order, our meeting tonight is, we'll set a date.
Yes, yeah.
And
Yes.
If we
And
need,
Esther,
if
we'll
they
get
wanna
you our
sometimes-
board.
right. So let's just set a date
Yeah.
and we'll go from there. And then, so to answer your question, yes, everybody's familiar with this appeal process. So let's set a date, point of order, and then we can hash it out when we get all the information together.
Very good. Esther, this will be the same format, Esther. Does this work for you?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. Next item on there, Sherry, can you get it back?
Okay, I'm sorry, are we setting the date now or we're coming back to that?
No, Esther, I'll get around to everybody by this weekend. We'll have a date set. We got to get a hold of what we want is a referee, if
Yes,
possible.
we can all be in the same room and you
We'll
know,
all be on the same thing here and
Yeah.
we'll be able to discuss it.
and also the field marshal, because he would be important also in this meeting.
Negative. Field marshal has no input.
Yeah, that's the point is it's the ref, that centers the whole thing. That's the way this.
Okay, well,
works.
If you have anybody, it's referee and ARs. Field marshal is a non-entity.
well, only the field marshal because he was present. Is the only reason why he was present.
It doesn't matter his opinion. His opinion doesn't matter.
So why is he on the field?
If his opinion doesn't matter, why is he there?
Why would you require
He's there to control the fans.
Yeah. He's not there to oversee the center ref. That's not what the field marshal does.
As I mentioned, let's set the day.
Merritt, when I talked to the referee, he made no mention of talking to a field marshal.
Right, we'll talk about it at the appeal.
Yeah.
Well,
And when we get the date, we'll go into it instead of wasting all that time tonight. But Esther, we will get it. We'll be as fair as
Thank you.
humanly possible, please.
Hey,
Next
Paul, Paul, if we're gonna have a formal appeal, I like appeals in person versus this video conference, so we can
If
control.
you read the appeal, if you read that, Merritt, and we can talk about this tomorrow.
Okay.
And the problem is getting everybody to a central place at some point. It's extremely difficult. When it talks about the appeal hearing of the meeting, it does not describe the type of meeting in our bylaws. So we've already gone to the point where we're in electronic meetings. If this format works, or if it's viable, then this is going to be the best way. We can actually get everybody on at the same time to discuss it, rather than trying and.
Okay, all right. Just wanted a voice.
Yeah, no. If it's not acceptable, if we find for some reason it seems unfair, or Esther seemed to come through well tonight and was able to discuss it. So I mean, if we've got everybody that we need to, the referee and the complainant, let's try it and see. Esther, if you feel that for some reason it's not fair, we'll work from there.
All right.
Okay.
We'll have it set by early next week, Esther, but we'll have to work around your schedule and the referees.
Well, and to the coaches, that would have to be. Well, of course, I wasn't present. I'm going.
No, but you're bringing the appeal to us, so it's
Right.
Whoever you want with you, that's good. We'll do it that way,
Okay.
And you can get them on. It's kind of fun. This can take up to 50 people, so we're fine as far as witnesses. But again, I think Merritt's point is really nobody relevant except the center.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. How about what's the next item, Sherry?
The next item is game number 1672, I believe. And this one, and I don't know if you can see, I pulled the email up here, but this is summarized. This coach contacted me a few weeks back, and apparently there was a miscommunication originally on the game being canceled for bad weather. And so I input into the system that the game was canceled and needed to be rescheduled. Come to find out, they had actually completed the attack. So as we know, that would be a final game.
Please stop.
But unfortunately, I'm sorry, was that to me?
No.
Okay. Unfortunately, the referee did not file the game report. The coaches don't have the game report. So all I have is both coaches attesting that yes, in fact, they did finish the first half. The score was 3-1 right here. And this is from the opposing team, the losing team, and he concurred. And that as far as they're concerned, the game's final and we can put that score in. I just did not feel comfortable doing that without bringing it to all of you to go ahead and do that without any written proof of the
How
score.
much?
Does that make sense?
Yes, Mike?
Yes, no, I mean, Green just put the score in.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't see any problem with that. Does anybody see a problem with that logic?
I mean, the problem is that the referee never
No.
filed an online game report nor sent in the report, but
I think that we do have to have a standard for referees because, that is expected from them. But I think we've gone down that path before.
Right.
Yes. Nines and tens. What age group is this?
This is U11.
Okay, well, let's see. That's our ref then. Nines and tens, we know we've had problems getting reports, but this guy, I don't know why I'm telling you. This is Dave, needs to be on top of this guy, and if he can't do it, obviously, you got to tell him you can't use him anymore. I mean, it's if he isn't going to put the
But you're okay with me just taking their word for it, putting the score?
Well, yes, if they both agree, I think that's it'd be silly not to, right? Unless someone disagrees. Merritt, how about you? What do you feel about that?
Could you give me some water? Disagree? No, if they both agree, that's fine.
Yeah.
And my point to Sherry and Greg is if you don't have game reports, you need to get with the assigner. And we need to hammer them and says, hey, you get this game report in.
We have several times, especially on this one.
Well, in this one, though, there is, if they thought there was no game being played, that wouldn't be the first thing come to your mind is to get the game report. But Sherry is assuming, I guess, to start with, that the game wasn't going to be played because of the weather.
Right.
But that's okay. Let's get to the next one.
Okay.
Well, that's all right. We're all right with that, right?
Right.
Okay. Okay, kind of the same situation. This is game number 1520, U10 boys game. Same thing. The game report was not submitted. Neither coach had a copy of it. We tried to track it down. We were not able to do that. The coach just provided me the score. I entered it. On this one, I felt we don't keep standings anyway, so it was probably okay to do that. But again, I just wanted to report on it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 500 we got 3,500 games a year. Some of these are not going to be as clean.
Right.
Somebody,
That's all that was.
Okay. I'm fine with that. How about everybody else? I mean, that's
that's fine.
Logical. 2287.
Okay, this one, this game was played. I've been in a lot of contact with this referee. He tells me that he keeps telling me he sent the game report, but I absolutely have not received it. So we finally decided, I said, can you just put it in the mail and mail it to me because I'm not getting your emails? But the coach was questioning that after the game ended, like a week later, sent me an email that he was questioning the player number 99 who scored the 4 goals, and he looked awfully big, and was he a legal player? I've spoken personally with the referee, and he said he remembers the game, he remembers the player, he checked him in, he had a pass, and yes, he was a legal player. So basically, but I don't have the written game report or the game card at this point in my possession, but he did say he would mail it to me. So I have to respond to the opposing coach that was questioning. And again, can I respond to him and tell him that the referee conferred that it was, and that he should have questioned it during the game?
Well, yes, that's the first thing. But again, if that hasn't happened, My thinking is you tell them that's what the referee said, and we're waiting for,
Written proof.
well, if it's going to be the opposite. In other words, the only way with the referee is all we got right now. With the written proof, if it proves to be that the kid was not eligible, we will then get back to him and we'll adjust our adjudication of his 4 goals. But aside from that, it stands right now until we find something different.
Okay.
Sherry, on that particular coach, did he provide you a player jersey number or anything like that?
He did, yes.
Okay.
Hold on, let me just.
Number 99.
Yeah, so if we get something, either it's got to be now that the actual physical game report, am I correct?
Yeah, really the game card, so I can see that he checked the player in. Okay, that's all that is.
But that should be easy enough once we get it to deny it or okay it, whatever.
Right. Okay.
2064.
Okay, this one, this email was going back and forth last night, Paul. I think I copied you on one of them. Just received a game change. No, actually, let me back up.
I saw it as a game change, you're saying. Should we allow it?
Suncoast Spartans. He contacted me last week, and he said that he had made a mistake. They're going to be in a tournament. He wanted the kids to be able to play. He didn't realize, that it was almost, inside of the 3 weeks. I explained the rules, all of that. And that I said, well, you can ask if the opposing coach will change the game, but now that the ref's been assigned, I do have to get the ref to agree. And if he doesn't, then it's a forfeit. He wrote back and he said, I would really rather not forfeit. He talked to the other coach. The coach agreed to change till February. I sent an email to Dave Deegan, as I always do. I know it's inside of the 3 weeks, but would you make the switch? And he's adamant that he will not make the change. And I know the rule is that he should forfeit, but the only comment I have on that is that a lot of the other ref assigners have been pretty gracious about these type of situations and have approved those types of late changes. And so it kind of, I'm just not sure. The last thing Dave Deegan said was that, well, if he'll pay our referee fees, then he can go ahead and change.
Yes, but that's got to be that's minimally part of it, correct? Because that ref is assigned. He took himself out of anything else he could have done that day. Whether he had something or not, we don't know. But he certainly could have. He's certainly taken himself out of it. That's the theory, is that if we're going to keep referees, then once they make a commitment to us, they're going to get paid. So at a minimum, but that's up to everybody else. Again, that's our inside that we have given the. If Dave has allowed it.
Dave actually does, he's really he doesn't bend. The other ref assigners have. I can't think of one game that I've asked them late notice and they haven't accommodated. So it's a little confusing because it kind of sets a different precedent for people,
Well,
Merritt?
Yeah, Sherry, I guess the response to the coaches should always be is if we can get a hold of the assigner and get the referees to approve, then good, we can make the change.
That's what I told them.
And coming from David's side, he's probably a little bit on the, hey, those are the rules, and you guys made the rules. So if you don't want them to be that, then change the rules.
Right.
And it's a lot of effort, to contact people and try to get it all set up. But so I'm just telling you kind of where he's coming from and a possible answer to those coaches that with this late change. And our first obligation should be to the rules that we have put in place, and
I already gave all that information to the coach and all that. So I can go back to him. And so are we going to make him forfeit or just make him pay the refs and then allow the reschedule?
Yeah. So if this was a situation that didn't involve them going to go play somewhere else. If it was
Right.
You know what I mean? If it was somebody being sick or something, but they are choosing to make the USA League secondary to what they want to do.
Right.
Correct.
And therefore, I think that he has to pay the referee fees if he wants to reschedule it and then reschedule it, or he has to forfeit.
So just charge them the $100, not the forfeit fee, because it's inside of the 6 days.
Well, it depends what he wants to do, right? I mean, he may not want to pay a referee 2 referee fees.
Right.
Well, it was within how short a time period?
Well, this has been going back and forth
21 days.
for about 10 days, but the game is actually for this weekend that they're rescheduling. But it started like last week, the whole.
But Merritt, it's inside the 21 days regardless. In other words, that's the time period we said is from there on, we talk to the ref assigner and see if it's all right, and then you pay the fees if it's easy for them to do. Dave has agreed to do it, but I think at a minimum, Mike, don't you think, and everybody else, that he's got to pay those fees, a minimum.
Yes.
I agree.
Well, and I'm more with Mike, is he's putting, how long ago did he have to fill his application in for the tournament?
Yeah.
Now he's putting the USA League second place.
Exactly.
Yeah, but agreed. We're going to get him. We're going to hit him for the work fees as not as a punishment, but I mean.
Excuse me 1 second.
And we don't.
It's a punishment. It should be a punishment.
But I wouldn't forfeit him. You know, let's just figure it out. I mean, let's figure out who we.
That may be his choice.
I'm for making him pay the fees, the ref fees, or we don't reschedule any forfeits.
Correct. Yeah.
Anybody agree with that?
I agree with that.
I agree. Yes.
All right. So let's just get back to him and tell him, hey, we're gonna do that. We got to have the fees paid because the referee did commit to the match, and so he's going to be paid for that match.
Okay.
I think it's isn't it $100? It's really not the ref fee. It's $100, is it not?
Well, whatever the referee fees are, right?
Yeah, that would be the ref fees.
Okay. So 100
and then allow them to reschedule. I'm sorry, is that what you said? I had to step away for a second.
If he agrees to pay the fees, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Otherwise, he forfeits.
Okay, got it.
Cool.
Okay, 1750.
Roster freeze question, Shannon Willery.
No, 1750.
1750.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Actually, can we skip that one? I need to look up what that's about, but Greg, maybe you can jump in on this roster question because I know you answered her about it. Do you remember? Or I can pull it up.
No. What they're wanting to do is they want to know if their rosters are frozen because they have games after Region Cup scheduled. Okay. Which means that let's say they have, I think it's an under 11 team or an under 12 team.
Under 11.
And they want the B team players, they're going to roster a couple of them to the A team for Region Cup. Okay. Now the question is, can they play them down? She wants to be able to play them down back where they are for the league, which can't happen.
Well,
no.
Well, no. Well, let me just ask you something. If the Region Cup's over and they're out,
right,
they can then re-roster them.
Correct.
Back to their own teams. Correct.
Yes.
You would have to do that before they can guest play them, or
they can't guest play them. They can't club pass them because they'll be going from the bigger to the smaller, which we don't know.
Correct.
Well, what she's saying is that the 11s are going to be up for the Region Cup. Then after they're out of the region, after Region Cup is done, they can re-roster them back down to the 11s.
Correct.
And then play them as they want.
Correct.
Yes.
Whether they want to play them up or down or whatever.
Yeah, as far as I understand the rules, I mean, I'm not who do we have that's the expert's expert, but if you re-roster, we just had people do that. If you re-roster them, then our club pass playing rules and our guest playing rules, it's really club pass playing rules, really don't apply because the roster is the game roster reflects those two kids being on that B team.
Yeah. The problem that they would have is that if they roster those kids to the Region Cup group, and they are trying to play games while Region Cup is still on.
That's correct. They can't. Well, they can't alter the. They won't be able to. The roster will be frozen, Mike.
Exactly.
They'll have to guest play them, and then that'll be a forfeit.
Correct. So
yeah, that's what. Does that make sense, Greg? Is that who you're going to answer?
Right. Well, like you said, if they took them from the lower team and put them on the upper one, then they would have to re-roster them. But basically,
is the only possible way.
Basically, what FYSA though is saying is that they could care less what you do in the league, as long as their roster that you hand in is what you hand in for Region Cup. It's frozen at that time.
Yeah, but if it's frozen, Sherry, I don't know, I'm not a registrar, but I don't think you can go in while it's frozen, Greg. I don't think you can go in and re-roster them. I don't think it's possible.
You're probably right.
We should try that, actually.
Yeah, but be careful, because last year, God soccer is not all God in this situation, because last year we had a situation whereby the software system wasn't able to identify a situation, and we had a team that got disqualified.
Yeah, I remember. It was a mistake. I mean, disqualifying was a mistake.
So, I mean, essentially the word is do not mess with the roster during Region Cup. And when Region Cup is over, they can play those games. They can re-roster the kids.
Yeah, just, Greg, are you the one that's communicating with this person?
Yes.
That's what to tell them. Say, look, you can re-roster after the cup competition they're out of the, whatever team is out of the cup competition. Then they need to re-roster them. That's the only way we can possibly do that.
But if there's a USA game in between there,
they can't do that then.
Play with the frozen roster.
That's correct.
Right.
I think that's fair, or that's our rules. I don't know if it's fair.
No, and that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
As I understand, unless somebody has got a better, if someone out there is a registrar, I mean, some of these things are tricky, and I'm not the final authority by any matter of means as far as this, what you can do. I mean, we fairly well know what we want to do, and that's probably all we need.
Well, who would be, Paul, if you're
well,
not?
Well, I'll tell you what happens. FYSA has a different, sometimes has a completely different take than we do as far as some of this stuff goes. So as a league, we are interpreting the rules as we just said. That's what we know. If FYSA has something, if they say, well, you can't until all the Region Cup's over, all the rosters are frozen, I don't know that.
I know, but what I'm asking is there like a vice president of our region that we could?
Well, didn't you get the FYSA?
Or turn that question over to them.
Well, what
Greg went to FYSA.
What they mean by a roster freeze is nobody can be added or deleted after a certain date. Okay? Now, that you play with what you got. Now, as far as the league is concerned, okay, FYSA doesn't have any control of what we do here. Okay, so if we want to allow players to play up and down based on whatever, or re-roster them, we can go ahead and do that if they're allowed to do it. If they can, in fact, re-roster them.
Okay.
And that's
whatever roster gets sent into FYSA, that's what they play with for Region Cup.
Yeah, but FYSA restricts your access during the roster freeze.
Right, that's what I thought.
A registrar can't go in and change things during the roster freeze.
They lock it. They lock your roster.
No worries. There you go.
But hey, Kai, when do they release the lock on the roster? When you get knocked out of the cup, do they all of a sudden release them?
Monday or Tuesday, the teams that get knocked out.
Okay.
Unlock them, and the teams that keep advancing, they're locked.
All right. So they got to, Greg, it's the same answer. If you can re-roster them, then go ahead and re-roster them. We're good with that.
Right.
But yeah, but only once they're out of Region Cup.
Well, what Kai's saying, Mike, is if they're still in, you can't access that. It's froze.
Correct.
That's what I thought.
Correct.
You can't do anything to it. So you can't print a roster out.
Yeah.
Because
we thought that last year,
yeah,
the State Cup, that we had a locked roster, and whatever happened, a player that wasn't even playing for us was removed from our roster through God Soccer, but it triggered the action to the roster for State Cup.
but somehow he actually got removed from the roster, and that's the difficulty.
Correct.
In this case, we're not thinking God Soccer is going to do whatever it feels like, although that's a weird thing. But somehow, I'm saying, and I believe that to be correct, is that you can't go in there and do anything. So this,
That's what happened.
No, that's not true though. You can go. That's what happened last year. We thought the roster was locked, but somehow a movement was made that triggered the fact that the roster was.
well, let me ask you this: maybe you can drop. Maybe it is that you can drop, but not add.
No, we dropped the player.
That's what I'm saying, and they still appeared. You're saying.
Yeah. When we dropped him, it changed the roster, and the rule is that you cannot change the roster no matter what you think.
Gotcha. So if these guys can go in and change your roster afterwards or whatever, then we're fine. I'm fine with that. It's an under 11 game, and they move the kids back. They just got to re-roster them.
Correct.
They got to hand that referee the roster with those two kids on that roster, not as club pass players. That's all. Whatever problems they run into is theirs. Is this the Sherry? You got another one up here, 206.
2064. Actually, I reversed we just talked about 1750 and then 2064. This was a result of the club pass player rule, and this club couldn't play the game, as it says here. I notified Braden River we would be unable to fulfill the game, which was obviously just shortly after learning about the club pass situation.
Right.
And so they didn't show up, and it was marked a forfeit. And he's saying, because of the short notice, et cetera, that he would like to be able to reschedule the game and not have it count as a forfeit. And I know we did make some exceptions for a few teams that were kind of caught in that. So right now it is, the game card was reported as a forfeit. And just, I guess, I need to let him, I don't know if you can see that. But anyway, I need to let him know if it's there.
It's a U12 team.
Uh-huh.
From where?
Yeah, sorry. I can't see it. Let me go back.
Tampa Bay United?
Tampa Bay United with you.
Let me go back. Hold on.
Yeah.
Nigel Whitsey. I don't know where he's from.
TBU, I think, is what the other one, what that thing said on the one side.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. It's just hard to see it here. Hold on.
Yeah, it's TBU versus Braden River.
Yes, TBU.
All right.
Yeah, that's what it says.
What, the dates on this seem to be, I know he said it's short, but
this was a while ago, this game.
When did we get that notification from FYSA? Does anybody remember? It was during the junior season, though, because it came up about a junior team from Brandon. Am I correct? That's why someone said, hey, you can't be doing this.
It was in November, I think, right before this email.
So this is right on the heels of it. I mean, it's right on top of it.
Yeah, within, maybe within a week or something. Uh-huh.
Well, what does Braden River feel? Would they play it again? Not that we should leave it to their discretion again.
I mean, I haven't inquired of that.
I'm personally inclined to allow this. We dropped that rule in you know, like a bombshell. This is a week later. And it probably doesn't give them time. And we did adjust some people because it didn't give them time to figure out how to get around it, how to get around the rule. I think they could now. They can re-roster or something like that. It seems to me that it's, I don't know, it's up to you guys, but that rule came into us as a surprise. It was, oh, by the way, I asked Frank about it, and, you know, he was pretty dumbfounded it came in late. So by the time we were informed, this is the one game left that we have that we really didn't give them time to readjust their plans, and I think that's correct. I would reschedule it personally, but it's up to the board.
I would too.
Because of what happened this year, it's a very special circumstance.
I'm okay with the reschedule. Who's going to pay the referee fees? Because I'm sure Braden River paid the referee fee already.
I'm sure they did. Yeah, because it was put as a forfeit. Although the score was, you see, it's blank.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike, in this case, I swear I'd pick it up if need be, because really this was, I mean, that's my opinion, but again, it's the board's decision, not mine. This thing was dropped into us overnight, and by the time we scrambled and looked up, and this wasn't something that was at the AGM that was even mentioned, as everybody knows. This was I don't know, it was a mistake or an afterthought on their part, but it was really absurd the way we were contacted about it. And I understand the clubs, some clubs, and TBU is one of them that's moving kids back and forth. We never had a problem with that. We have a club, pardon me, we have a rule in our association that said you could do that. You could use up to 3 club pass players. So, in this case, I think these guys are right that this was something that was odious as far as the time frame, and if it's a question of picking up the referee fees, I would have USA do it.
Well, I mean, I agree on that because I wouldn't penalize Braden River for this.
Right. And I think we said that we were going to try and do anything we could for the teams that got caught in the bind.
Yes, and we should.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
Will be a home game for Braden River, or does that matter?
Well, Braden River's got to just be told, hey, you got to schedule this. That's all.
Okay.
It's not a matter of them. They don't get to ask. Mark, are you there, Mark?
I'm here. Yep, I'm here.
Yeah. I mean, if you have to explain it to the guys, it's not a matter of them. They didn't do anything wrong or anything else, but we're just going to reschedule this game. Then they should like to play another match. It's good. You think it's a problem rescheduling that?
No, I don't. I'm pretty sure it'll work out fine.
All right. And like I said, if you get to Sherry or to Greg, we will, if I'm sure you paid the refs, we'll reimburse you for that credit.
Let's say we'll pay the refs. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I think, is anybody violently opposed to that? Okay.
What's a violent opposition?
That's what you do, Merritt. That's what I consider your opposition is usually violent.
I wanted a definition, so I needed to know what I had to do.
It's violent when it's painful to me.
It's that ISIS flag you brought out, Merritt.
Hey, Sherry?
Yes.
Who was the coach on that one?
For Braden River?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look. Give me 1 second.
It was on a game report, but I couldn't really see it.
It was under 12 Rage Elite.
Oh, Nick LeDuc.
If you click into his thing, you can get his whole
yeah, it's Nick LeDuc.
Okay.
But we'll get back. Do we have a way of getting to that coach, Sherry and Mark? If you just, but we should
I can get to him.
As a league. We should be we'll contact him. You can tell him to him.
I'll send an email out or a notice to both.
All right. Greg. Thanks, Sherry. Unreported games. What's in?
I think we kind of touched on this already.
Yeah.
Greg
Just
had
the one email that Greg finally sent out about, we're going to have to get these 9s. Is it the 9s and 10s?
It's kind of I'd say it's scattered, wouldn't you, Greg?
Yep.
It's kind of all over. And it has, since he sent out the last notice with a spreadsheet, they did clean up a lot of them, but there are still, you know, a good amount that are still out there. Anybody that complains about it, I tell them, send me the game report, I'll put the score in. So that there. But again,
but the league, I mean,
for next year, like, we probably need to figure out a better way of this happening, you know, because it's very time consuming. And of course it doesn't, you know, I understand why the clubs would be frustrated when their scores don't get
yeah, I know. But because that's part of the deal. We told them we've got it, you know, in other words, we've got this taken care of and we're taking care of the scores.
Right.
They don't show up and then we say, well, you know, if you got the game report, get it to me. And that's not satisfying to me. That's poor performance on our part, not you,
Right.
not Greg, not me, but
Right.
I mean, what kind of leverage? We need some. See, the 9s and 10s, we've got essentially no financial leverage over them. Correct? We didn't pay their fees and we didn't assign them for the 9s and 10s.
Correct.
Correct.
So that's something we need to at least take a hold of, and I don't know what else to do except put pressure on the clubs if it's a club.
Yeah,
and say, "Look,
well,
guys,
but up to now, I don't think, you know, because there was no standings, I do not think that the club themselves, because this comes down to the club, right, to the coach that has to take care of this report. It's not going in through a referee.
No, the referee's supposed to report it, Mike.
They still are supposed to enter the score.
Whether they're keeping standings, we are keeping track. So the referee, the guy that does that center, is required to send it in. He just doesn't because we know, you know, the issues. We're first of all, we don't assign him, and we don't pay him.
Yeah, that's the disconnect. We don't have control over the referee.
Not the 9s and 10s, you know.
Right.
Who sends in the game
Well,
card,
but
Jerry?
the assigner should be able to direct that person, right? I
No,
mean,
the assigner doesn't have anything to do with the 9s and 10s, Mike.
well, no, because not at our club. We have an assigner.
The club assigner.
Referee.
Club assigner.
Yeah.
And we have been communicating with them.
Yeah, that's who we're bitching at, basically.
It's a very, you could almost, I don't want to say hire another person to do that, but I mean, it's very time consuming to go game by game and figure out who didn't put the score in and then get in touch. You know, you have to send 29 emails. And,
Yeah, no, I agree.
and by the time those aren't resolved, the next weekend happened.
No, I agree. It really is.
Who sends in the game?
A lot of money. A part of the clerical thing we have, we are bound to do that, but we should figure out a system where you have more leverage and it gets simpler.
Right.
Who sends
Where
the
you
game
gotta
cards
wait
in right now?
time to do it, you know.
What's that, Greg?
Who sends the game cards in? Not the referees report, the game cards.
The referee is supposed to do that as well.
Why don't we get the coach, the winning coach, to put that in, as opposed to the referee? Then at least we'll have something.
We used to do it that way.
Sorry?
Didn't we used to do it that way? Didn't the winning coach got the white copy, the other guy got the?
Yeah, but for 9s and 10s, I mean, you know, the referees can.
My guess would be just off the top of my head, you're better off with the system you got. It's more likely.
No, wrong answer. That's
I'll tell you, Merritt, when it was the coaches doing it, it was, you never got, it never came in. I don't think anybody looked at them either.
no, but see, then your leverage is, see, right now over the non-paid assigners.
No, I got you.
Paid,
that makes sense.
we got no leverage. But if the coach is the coach has got to send them in, and the home team, or, you know, the winning coach is not, you know, doesn't want to send it in, then he's not going to get his score posted.
Yeah, but
Then that affects their
Maybe the losing coach wants his posted.
this is my comment. What do you mean non-paid assigners?
9s and 10s only, though, Merritt. 9s and 10s only.
But they're non-paid assigners by our league.
Right.
So those
Yeah, from the league.
assigners are paid
Yeah. Well,
But
from
there's
us.
no leverage by the league.
Yeah.
Because Mike, theoretically, the other guys, if it's 11 and up, you're going to Dave Peterson and Dave, you know, and saying, look, if you can't get your guys to do this, don't use them anymore. I mean, there are some. I saw something from Jim Vars, and he said, "I'm not going to use a guy anymore. I'm tired. I'm tired of running after him." Oh.
Yeah, but don't you think that it would be the clubs who are retaining these assigners to assign the 9s and 10s, that the club can expect the assigner to get the referees to do their job,
Yes.
job, because it is part of their habit as they go into under 11s and under 12s.
You're right, except that right now we have a bunch of 9s and 10s that aren't doing it, Mike. So what is that?
They're the younger referees. They're the younger referees are using, which is good.
The club doesn't understand that they have a higher liability, let's say, with 9s and 10s to get the ref to send that stuff in, Mike. I think that's the issue.
Of course, but I think that we can have a position that encourages them and certainly
yes.
our assigner to make sure that he encourages the referees to get that done.
But that's where we are. I mean, theoretically, that's where we are right now with Greg. Greg is now getting in touch with these people. And like Sherry said, we cleaned up some of them, but some of them are unresponsive. They shouldn't be.
In theory,
Greg, is it a lot of clubs that actually you have the problem with, or is it 2 or 3?
It's across the board.
Okay,
In theory, Mike's right. But, but here's the big but. The assigners know which kids are going to show up, which ones are conscientious, at least to show up for the games and referee the games. They know they're going to do 4 or 5 games, so they use those kids. And those are the ones that don't send in the reports. What are you going to tell the assigner? You can't use this kid because he's not sending in reports? Then you won't have a referee.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's a partnership. We have this conversation every year. I think it's a partnership between the club and the assigner and the league. I mean, come on, that's maybe we don't get 100%, but certainly we can have the conversation about what's expected because we do pay the referee.
But we're still, Mike, we haven't changed the system any, only the expectation. The expectations have been there all along. The question is, if we put some thought into it, is there any other leverage that we can build into the system that's easy, that we get better even higher compliance than we do? Our compliance rate is fairly high now, but it was still there's a number of unreported games, and I see the emails from people complaining that their game hasn't been in there. And like I said, Sherry can say, well, then send in the game report, but that's. If we made it in the beginning of the season that they've got to do it, then we could say it's your fault. But it's not. We have passed that to the center ref for this season, and it's just follow up. I mean, Greg, I don't think it's any more than just being a nag. I hate to say that.
You're right.
And that's basically what Mike's saying too. We should get better compliance out of the clubs if there's some other contact at the club. If you get to a point where you say, do you know anybody else down there, Mike, Paul, that we can contact and get this done? But you're going to see when you get back in there, Mike, you're going to find that by then they'll say, well, that was 6 weeks ago and we can't run it down. Sorry. That's the issue. Now, if it's the same clubs, it makes it easier to do that. But I think we're really dealing with next year, Greg and Sherry. Greg, all you can do is do what your mom did to you, man. Just nag them to death,
Well, they're spending a lot of time. That's what they're saying.
I know, Merritt, but that's all we got right now is we need to change. As a lever. We can't institute a change in the reporting now.
Who has the weekly or monthly contact with the club assigners? From the club. Anybody?
No, nobody.
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 There really isn't any, there's no recourse.
To my knowledge, nobody in USA, nobody on our board is assigned to nor is in touch with the club assigners at any time. Merritt might be the only one that even knows who they might be. I couldn't say he'd know 30% of them. I may be wrong, but
I mean, if you're expecting to win a conference, a division, and it's your club that hasn't reported a game or two, well, guess what? It's just like getting your graduation certificate at the end of the year.
Well, that's where Sherry. That's what I'm saying. As far as I know, this is horribly time consuming, but for now we can't change a system. The point is to the people.
My mom's car.
The people that knock in, that come in and say, "Hey, where's the report?" Say, go back to your club, and you need to put pressure on them to get that sent to us because they haven't sent it in.
Right. I mean, it's fine. We'll just keep plugging at it.
Yeah, but I think you're right. In the off season, is there anything? Some of you smart guys out there, put your mind to this. There's got to be a better way. 9s and 10s are particularly bad. How about now from the 11s up, Greg? We should be able to continue to hammer our assigners.
I mean, we should have no issue with 11 and up.
Right.
All we could do, the only recourse we have there is to get back to the assigner and tell them not to assign them.
Well, yeah. I mean, maybe they'll get tired of hearing from us, or they don't get paid, do they, till we get the report in? Am I correct, or are we able to enforce that?
For the 11th,
they get paid before the game.
No, I'm talking about the assigners.
Signers.
Oh,
yeah, but the club pays the signers for 9s and 10s.
Yeah, we're talking about 11s and up, Mike.
Yeah, 11s and up. Yeah, no, I think that's the deal, right, Merrick? That they don't get paid.
I think we instituted that policy. I don't know how easy it is to actually follow it up. Mike. That's the question, right?
Well,
they're paid. The signers are paid. Like it's 3 or 4 weeks after the games have been played.
Yeah, and I know that we did tell them they won't get, if we don't get the results, they won't get paid for that game.
Yeah, if we don't have the game card in, they don't get it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, they've been pretty good, look, like you said. So now and that's not an issue. I think we're just talking about these 9 and 10s.
Yes, exactly.
So
I think, Greg, when you get a minute, Greg, just take a look at it and give us a number, and we can figure out from there whether it's an issue or not yet. 11s and up.
Yeah.
But I know Vars was so frustrated with one of his refs not getting something in, he said he wasn't going to use him anymore. So that's going to happen occasionally, right? The referee decides to move to the Great North Woods, and he just doesn't give a report. Jim can't go follow him there and get it from him.
Well, I realize that, but that is a recourse, and obviously we've taken care of that guy. So
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, you start to try and limit it to the degree possible.
Right.
All right.
And the only thing I could suggest is maybe just trying to educate all parties a little. I mean, I know we've done that at the coaches meetings, but my experience is people don't always retain it in one listening. And so maybe just trying to get out more information to all parties. If you're a coach, you have to keep your game report, because a lot of them I'm finding don't even realize they need to keep a copy of that. The refs, you have to enter the game. So giving everybody constant reminders, and maybe that will increase
Do you have a way out, like an email blast list of the
coaches? More than once, like at the start of the season, and then maybe every week.
No, I agree with you.
And if you're the coach and you see your score hasn't been reported by Tuesday, please contact the league. That would help us to have to hunt and peck and figure out who.
Yep. It would save us a lot of time.
Yeah.
Merritt, didn't you go on a fact-finding tour with Linda?
Oh,
fact-finding tour? No, I didn't go on a fact-finding. We went on some training.
Right. Well,
training meetings. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the training meetings, though, Greg, they went through all of that, I'm sure, as far as.
Yeah, we went.
It obviously
for how to enter them.
Pretty good.
Cell phone to take pictures, and that's why you don't have that much problems with the 11 and above.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll follow up on that, Sherry, and then if we can send out a blast email again, same thing, remind them all if it's easy to do, and you can get it done, or Greg, draft the thing and remind them, hey, some of these club things, we don't get them. If by Tuesday you don't see it in there, you need to contact your club, get them to get it in there and find out why it's not reported yet. It's not us, though. And then, thing.
Sherry, this is one of our put in the folder for next year.
Yeah, agreed.
Right.
Before the AGM, this is something that we just need
We have to sit down and
wrinkle. Yeah.
Is it worth getting those assigners, those club assigners together someplace for a meeting?
If you could get them together for a meeting, I mean, I think Merritt can tell you even better. They did pretty well with the refs, but I'd say in maybe 6 or 7, I don't know how many meetings they actually had over 2 years, maybe 14 or 15.
I'll schedule one at Burns. We'll schedule one at Burns, and
You must think you're with FYSA.
Great standards.
we're going to be up in the dessert room.
Yeah. There's a name for that room. I forget what it is, but I think the FC Tampa, I don't think you can rent the rooms anymore. I don't think we're blacklisted, I think. Yeah, they do, Greg. The problem is, again, not problem. The issue is you don't get all of the refs at the meetings, Greg. We even said, you're not going to be able to work for us. But really, practically, we did get a lot. But we got, what, Merritt, 25% maybe total?
I know we had some pretty good meetings and actually some very good feedback.
What I'm saying, if we're 25 to 30% of the total refs, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But Greg, that's still leaves 70% that didn't get the training.
But what I would like is Greg's idea is good, is because that is a smaller group.
It is.
And it would be a much smaller group because what? I don't know how many big clubs we got. We got the
10.
10. So we got 10 people we invite.
No, we'd be. I think for next year we have those addresses ostensibly. We have the assigners. We probably can find most of them right now and remind them. Not easy,
but Paul, I think, and Merritt is correct. I mean, I think that respecting them by having a preferred meeting at dinner is better than just.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Well, you're going to have to do that in the fall, Mike, after you find out who they are and whatnot. Yeah. No, that would be, but again, that's another night out. I mean, you look at, we have a hard time getting us all together, and now we're.
Yeah, but look at Merritt. Merritt is like, he let the good times roll. Merritt is like, goes on to this.
Well, Merritt obviously has a lot of nights free right now. So
he's doing 3 meetings. He only wants 3 at a meeting. It's a 4th top for him.
We'll have to get him some other activity.
Merritt's looking pretty thin there. He needs a couple meals.
Yeah. We'll get them together.
All right. Well, hey, all right. It's worth the money. How about end of year awards? We're going to try and tackle that tonight. I don't know. Last year, did we not offer the winning, the first division winning teams their region or state cup fees? Correct.
Yeah.
We did nothing for the second or third division.
Correct. And I think we should do it again.
I agree.
Agree.
First division only?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What did that cost us, Sherry? You got any idea? I'm trying to think. It's how many teams? 10? No?
I'd have to look. I wasn't so involved with that. I couldn't tell you without looking it up.
It's got to be 10 to 12, Paul, that's all.
8, 6, 7,000 bucks?
I seem to remember it was like $750.
Yeah, we would have budgeted. It'll show up. I'll look on the site and see.
Yeah, but you know what? I do think that we're going to make a bigger deal about it, Paul.
Correct.
I think that we've got to go out now as these seasons are coming to an end and remind them of what the league is doing, because I think it's a big time thing that we do. Nobody else does it. And we got to make it a great reward for them so that they take it serious.
I think a blast email with the standings.
Yes, good idea.
And a blast email with the standings of the first division, and let them know that the division winner will be refunded their.
Well, they can. I mean, really, but. Merritt, they can just go on the site a lot easier. I mean, we're going to eat a lot of time up and effort from our team there to get that all assembled and on a different And they all know they know what shape they're in.
No, I guarantee you.
Everybody knows when you're in first place.
I guarantee you, very few people know about it.
Not about the thing. Not about. I think we blast email Mike and say, hey, in the first division you get this and that. I think getting the standings on there is going to require taking a database from one database to another, getting in a Word document, and then sending it out is going to be cumbersome. When those guys all know, should know, and we can tell them in the thing. Check check your site.
You can just put the link in there.
Yeah,
okay.
that's what I was going to suggest.
Yeah.
Put the link in there.
All right, I got you.
Congratulations to all our winning teams. So you're not even excluding the lower divisions?
Well, that's the one thing, Mike. You see, you're not. You're sending emails out, though, Sherry. Maybe not a blast. You're sending them to those people in that division. That gets a little difficult, doesn't it?
Well, no,
To
I mean,
identify,
no,
I'm saying.
either way. It can be done either way. I mean, that would take longer, but.
I don't think it's a big. I don't think it's a big enough deal. I think.
Well, we've made a decision already that that's the only guys that are going to get anything.
Yeah.
I think that's discriminatory right off the bat. So, but that's what we do.
Yeah.
That puts some value into that first division.
Yes.
Well, we talk. You and I have talked hours about promoting the league, and this is, I think, worth the effort of promoting the league versus chasing down 9 and 10-year-old game reports.
No doubt. But past the website and an email right now, Merritt, we really don't have. We need to. And I think going forward, all the things that we discussed this week, that I discussed with all of you, that need to be done from a marketing standpoint. But for us, what we have available really is the website and emails. That's our only way of getting the information out. Unless someone else has a better idea. To me, that's the only way I know to communicate with these guys.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So we blast email the people that are involved. Yeah, it takes a little bit to look up those coaches and get it done. But I'd rather not have game reports than promote the league.
Yeah, well, Sherry, you said, can you sort by that in some easy way, or you got to actually go down and separate it out?
I mean, I can make it work. That's not a big deal.
Cool.
Yeah. You can do it to the team. You can do it to the club.
Well, let's then. Do we agree we're going to send that out to remind them? We're going to send a blast email out. Everybody, is that where we want to do it?
Yes.
And this is a good time to do it. It's a pretty good time to do it, sure.
Yeah.
Just Division 1, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Just Division 1.
Yes.
The winner of the division, USA will pay their registration fees for region or
region or state, whatever they choose.
Okay.
Or reimburse them or credit them.
And only send it out just to the first division.
Yeah, I mean, it's no sense kicking up extra sand. We're going to have to answer the question is, why don't you do anything for the second and third divisions, because you're trying to encourage play. We're
But every second and third division's team goal is to get to first division.
Exactly.
That's how we could justify it.
Yeah, I think, Mark, that's what the operable. I mean, we voted on it last year, and as I remember, the vote wasn't closed to say it's just going to be the first division. I'll tell you the other thing, practically, Mark, it would be a ton of money if you include.
Oh my God!
It'd break the. I mean, it'd be a ton.
Well,
as it is, I think it's going to be $6-7 grand, but we put it in there. I mean, we budgeted.
So also think about those teams that were in Division 2 that didn't want to go up to Division 1.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Right.
It's a good incentive. No.
Yeah.
Right. So let's reward them.
Somebody complaining, but I mean, we know why we made the decision. You got to just field the complaint. I'm not complaining. Doesn't bother me. It's when we're done something that we shouldn't be doing and they complain. Okay, but this is something that we made a decision last year because of the reward side of it. We were rewarding the best teams and the best play and giving them something for it, rather than, this is in lieu of, as you all know, the T-shirts. We ended up with thousands of T-shirts. No one ever picked them up. Not everybody, but I mean too many. So it became a handling nightmare to print T-shirts and get the right names. And everything we did, trophies, no matter what we did, we got absolutely no participation, or a very low participation rate, which meant we just pissed our money away. And Obviously, no one appreciated it that much. Some did, but I mean, very few. So
I would say that people like the T-shirts better than the trophies.
yes, yes. And the T-shirts weren't horrible. I mean, we figured out a way to do it, but then people had to pay for the, we would pay for the thing and they would pay for the T-shirts, and that got confusing. So it seemed like this system that we went to, paying this, was short and sweet. We can identify it, and everybody gets. Everybody just about, I think, last year filed for the for the money. So there. So we'll get it out to the Division I teams, yeah, Sherry, and just remind them that.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I have one thing that just popped in my mind that I put on the agenda. For Joan Judd, usually we post the application in the next month or so, due in March. But are we changing that? Is it going to be available to all high school seniors, like always, or?
No, we have a budget. And I think it's 5 or 10, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? Last year, we relented because it was only a few kids more than what we budgeted. But the year before, we had 65 or something. It was $30,000, which we don't have. We took our money and used it elsewhere, basically, and to improve the league. So there was a choice we made. I think we only have, I'm going to say 10, but it might be closer to, it might be 5. I know we wanted to go to 5, and we may have put 10 in this year.
I'm going to try to pull it up for you.
Yeah. But I would say in putting them up that they're limited.
Yeah, there's limited. I think we agreed that there's only a limited number of scholarships.
There we go. John. $5,000.
Okay, so we've got 10 $500 ones because what was his name? George, and then Mike and I actually said, well, let's make
$1,000.
3 of us. We thought we'd bump it up and make one scholarship that was $10,000, big. So it made some sense. They didn't like that, and I was fine with it. So they want the 500. They think it's still good. So I think you tell them there's 10 available. So be sure you get your stuff in.
But we're not limiting the application is open to everybody.
Yes, yes.
But we have to tell them that we're only selecting 10 recipients.
Yes, and that's where George and those guys didn't like it, which I understand because it was painful for them to do that. But that's what we got. We got 10. Nobody else does it at all. If those guys won't do it, we can sort through them and figure out a way. Make some criteria. And if they say what the criteria is, it's length of time with USA, the grades, I don't know,
Best essay, maybe.
We have an application
Community service, very big part of it.
Community service, okay.
And especially where it involves guys, in other words, people are put back into the soccer community. Obviously that will weight heavier than, the work that your father's, used car lot,
Now, last year, Linda set it up that they did the application online through the website. I think, again, I wasn't so involved with that part of it. I think it worked out that you could read the information. Some people did have trouble uploading all their pictures and all that business. Do we want to do it that way or just do a paper application mailed in an envelope?
What do you think? You're going to be handling them, you and Greg. What do you guys think?
Well, I think it's more about for the people that are going to be reading them and making the decisions.
Yeah, you're right.
It might be easy. It's old fashioned, but to put, have a binder that you can flip through and see everything.
Yeah, but the problem is that with us not getting together on a regular basis now, for us all to get to read it, you know what I mean? So
True.
Probably online is
you're right.
the best way to do it.
Well, I just wanted our questions, the application questions, to be geared towards what we want to see. And one, I think that question is, how long were you a USA League player?
Correct. Yeah.
Do you have last year, Sherry?
I do. I can't. Can you see?
Might
Like
be in there. It might be in there. I don't.
it's behind here, and I can't move my screen over to.
I'm seeing you moving around on it. You think
I
it's?
know it's behind here, behind you, but I can't. I don't know how to click on the link because I can't move my.
Under scholarships?
Let me see if I no, see that doesn't work.
No, but we can look at it too. I mean, look, everybody just go on a site and go into
Here,
the
it's under
scholarship
scholarships, which is right here,
and read it.
but I can't see it.
No, but I'm saying we can all read it. We know here.
I can
We
collapse.
tell everybody to go in and take a look.
Wait a minute. I'm there. Hold on.
You
I figured
did have $5,000 budgeted, Paul.
Yeah, no, yes, it is. It's 10. Last year we went to 12 or something, Greg, because there were a few more. But I'll tell you, we took the money.
I'm looking at 5 on the sheet.
I know. And this year we only budgeted 5.
Okay.
Last year we budgeted 5 also, and we went over.
Okay.
This year I don't feel like we're going to do that. We should do it.
Here we go.
Here you go, Mary. Read it, and if you got any changes, get them to Sherry.
Here's the requirements. So it was, proving that they're a USA player, application to a college, latest report card, their ACT, SAT scores, GPA, letter of recommendation, number of years the player played for USA, and then additionally soccer involvement other than your own team, list of clubs, organizations, and an essay why you believe you are the most qualified applicant. It's basically like when you apply to college.
Mm-hmm. That looks good to me. It's a little bit of work for $500, but enough kids do it. That
I tell you what would really help out. I know we have it listed there, but if we could create I'm not good at it, but an Excel, where you put all those questions in, and then when the judges, when they review, every question's in the same spot. Whereas some of these kids, they'll go down and however they organize their letter, it could be in a different part.
Well,
I don't think that's difficult to do. I think we can get somebody to create that form, that standard form, and then they can just attach a essay to that form.
Right. That's kind of what. Yeah, you fill out the application, then.
Well, we need to get going on the form then. Who does that, Mike?
Well, I can get Carlos at our club to create it as long as I know what questions.
Well, we can create the online form right here on the website.
Correct.
Right here.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, you just create a form, and I'm pretty sure it can be exported to a spreadsheet, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Are you going to try that first, Sherry?
Yeah, I'll play around with it.
Greg, how about you? I mean, maybe you can slough that off to him too. I know Greg's, can get in and out of that. So between you, try it first.
Okay.
Not get back to Mike and I, and then see.
That's what we did last year, but Linda did it, so I just have to teach myself how to do it.
Yeah.
But I'll figure it out. Or Greg, between the two of us.
Will do.
Okay. Anyway, sorry. I'm trying to look at it now, but I'll do it later. Okay, so that was it on the agenda.
Okay.
That's the end of the executive committee meeting. Let's adjourn. Someone make a motion to adjourn. Is there anything else anybody has?
Well,
We've got to set up that thing for Esther and Greg. We got to try and grab a hold of that referee if we can. And Merritt, you and I'll talk. Merritt, I just want to get square as far as who has any weight in it. And as far as I understand, nobody but the referee really has any weight at all to say about this.
They are.
Correct? Not a field marshal, not a coach.
No, just.
They can get, you listen to their information, but you're right. You listen to the referee and his explanation, and just tell the fact what you
I
did.
got an email from Braden River. It's got 20, not from Braden River, from WWF. It's got about 20 things. Here's what happened and things. Plus we have his.
They had a bunch of commentary in there too.
Yeah, but I'm saying they had, this is what he said. We've got him and we've got his report. Between the three of them, we made our decision. And we just got to see now that there's Esther thinks it's got to be fair. It is fair. I mean, the guy blew a FIFA rule. The big question was what happened, right? What happened when he called the foul, if he called the foul at all? But obviously he thinks he said play on, and that's what we think he said. Now he doesn't specifically say that in the rendition that we saw that he wrote.
Yeah, he said he had told me that he had stopped play and called for a kick, but the ball hadn't stopped moving. The ball was not stationary to start that next act off.
What does that mean?
That's why when he had gone over to the sideline to the AR told him, hey, dude, the ball was still moving. You can't take a restart, a direct kick, if the ball's still moving. So that's why.
Well, then if that is what they're complaining about, then that's a bunch of.
Yeah, well,
the game say that, but you're not.
Well, the essence.
That's not even a violation of the laws of the game. That's just a real trivial thing.
But the essential part of her argument, as I understand it, Merritt, is that her team stopped. Basically, the other team didn't, and therefore they scored. That's, I think, where she's talking about the fairness issue. If it's a play on,
where was
the referee says I said play on, and they played on.
My question would be where was the ball on the field of play when he blew his whistle? If it was all the way down in front of the other goal, and they had to go 110 yards to get to the other end, then that's a very lame excuse. So,
well, that's what we'll nail down. But I do believe when we talk to the ref, Greg,
that's what I would ask him.
It seemed, in fact, Greg talked to him. He said, basically I blew it, and I should have.
Now it's convoluted. And what did he blow? I don't know what he.
Well,
blow.
Yeah, I mean, we really don't know either. If you look at Greg, you looked at which we can't use anyway. But I mean, you looked at the.
We look
at it.
I look at the video. You're going to see that there was never really a stoppage in play.
That's what I saw.
There was no stoppage.
The play didn't stop. Everybody was playing still.
Right, and you can't see the referee in any of the film footage to show that he had signaled play on. So,
can you hear anything?
No, you can't hear anything either. But
what's it on? Is it on? You said it's uploaded to YouTube, right?
It's on YouTube, yeah.
Well, Sherry can send it to you. Before we do this, we'll send it out again so you can read
send it to me. Send me the YouTube link.
It's the referee's rendition. Even the YouTube you can't use as evidence, Mary. It's an advice.
But it'll give you a feeling.
Yes.
Guess what? They use film video to assess $100,000 fine for players.
I know, but when you're talking about it's somebody's YouTube, at some point you don't know they hooked it. There's 1,000 things that can be hooked up with
but I know. And
Esther's
testimony will have all the weight, but
the essential. That's correct. But the essence of Esther's argument is he blew his whistle. The game stopped. The West Florida continued to play. Therefore, they scored. Therefore, it was eventually disallowed. And
but if the YouTube proves them wrong on their own, that they said that the player stopped. Their comment is our player stopped.
Yeah, she may have, but she may not. All the players are in the YouTube. You can't see the entire field.
So how many out of 11?
Well, that's what I don't know. I mean, that's her argument is that the referee's got to be the one to say, the play continued on.
Right.
I knew it continued on. They scored. He restarted the match as if there was a score.
So Paul, I thought that we all talked about that. If the restart of the match occurs,
absolutely,
whatever happened before that is irrelevant. And now that's it. That is a goal.
Right.
That's correct. And that's, in other words, that's what we got to go back to. We need the ref. Esther's point is before that, Mark, which is she's not going to win unless we come up with something else. That Esther, once that goal went in and he called it a goal and he restarted the game. The other thing, Mark, is he restarted the match in the center as if there was a goal. So he was acting, even the referee was acting independently, no matter what he says. He was acting as if there was a goal when he restarted the match. He didn't restart the match at the foul. He didn't restart the match for a goal kick. He started the match in the middle. I don't know that did the other referees run up the side, that he drop his flag and run up to the center, the AR also, you know. But he restarted as if it was a goal. That's the fact.
Right, and I'm not a ref, but I always understood that if once that happens, whatever happened before doesn't matter.
That's correct. I think you reported a high school match where they actually had the wrong number of players, and they said, "Stuff, we called the goal. It's over. We can't go back."
Right.
Well, if they restarted, if they're like 12 players on the field,
and that's what happened in this. I mean, clearly they restarted the match after they had allowed a goal.
Right. There you go.
And then went back and took the goal away. It's a real bet. Look, the ref didn't do a good job. Let's face it, man. It's confusing. But Esther's point is particular in the one thing that our players stopped and they kept playing, and therefore they scored. Hey, that could happen.
Take the goal. Well, yeah.
Yeah, you never stop playing.
You know, unfortunately, in many games, there's a lot of bad calls, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, this is really confusing. I mean, he went back and, well, we'll talk to him. But I mean, from Greg did speak to him and said, you know, I went back and I guess it was the guy that was the field marshal must have told him, hey, that can't be a goal. Well, it's nonsense. He doesn't know the rules either.
That was the AR.
Well, it was a field marshal that he went to talk to, though.
That's what she says. The referee said the AR told him what the rule was, not the field marshal.
All right.
So.
Well, so the AR says, the AR tells him, hey, dude, you know, that goal shouldn't be allowed. But he should have done that. He should have stayed in his corner. Am I correct, Greg, as an AR?
The AR should have had his flag up, and he should have been waving it like crazy, like the world's coming to an end.
Right.
But obviously, that didn't happen because the referee didn't notice anything and didn't stop the game.
No, and it restarted. And in other words, we had all the time to get the ball back to the center, put the ball down, and restart the match, and then stop.
I don't think there is a rule where you can reverse it once the game has started again from the center.
No, I agree with you, Mar. I think this is a FIFA thing. This is a rule.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I know Merritt. I have now the FIFA rules on my thing, and it's very clear in the FIFA rules. And we sent them to Esther. I think Esther's talking about it's the fairness issue, and it really goes around the original call, which is, you know, I mean, I hate to say it like this, but it's like looking up a dead dog's asshole and wondering what happened. The dog's dead, you know. I mean, the play happened. Enough people kept playing that the referee felt they scored, and then set the ball in the middle of the field to restart the match. So the referee must have been under the impression by his actions that there was a goal and they were about to restart because it was a goal. At that point, the game restarts. There's no taking the goal back.
I agree. I mean, it's unfortunate, but if we open that,
I agree.
We open that up, then all of a sudden it's going to be a lot of changes.
Well, I think the only thing you worry about, and not worry about because I don't worry about it, but I mean they can go to FYSA after this and again open it up. We have to go back to the reason we ruled as we did is because of it's FIFA. It's got nothing to do with us, them, the kids hearing the goal, nothing. The referee proceeded as if it was a goal, and then he decided it wasn't a goal, which he couldn't do.
Hey.
All right.
But we'll get her on. We'll get her, the ref, and a couple of us, as many of us as it can get on for 25 minutes one night. And at least then I think it's a fair appeal. You know? I don't blame her for appealing it.
All righty. I thought these meetings were going to be shorter because we were online. What
Yeah,
happened?
they are. I think it's obvious.
Hey, Paul, one other thing. At some point in time,
Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. I just saw the time.
at some point in time in the future, we need to put something on the agenda to have a committee looking at a, 2 and 5 year plan as to how we can grow and brand the league.
Well, I think we're on that, Greg. You're not aware right now, but you will be if there's something we got moving. So I'll fill you in.
So you got that? We got that already going?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think we kind of started with Rocky a couple weeks ago. I talked to all the guys on the board this week. Last week.
Okay.
And we'll keep moving. I'm waiting for a couple more clubs to kind of say, okay, that's a good idea. Let's go. And I'll let you know. I did not talk to you about it on purpose. It just was a matter of getting to the people on the board is hard enough.
No problem.
But I'll fill you in, you and Sherry both. It doesn't affect me. It has no bad effect, but it's
Right.
the next step. So
And like I said, and as far as putting some of that stuff in place, we also have to think of a way to fund it as well.
absolutely.
Whether it be an end of the year banquet of some sort.
I'll fill you in on the whole. I'll fill you in on everything. But I did speak to everybody, and we're slowly dribbling back. I think so far we've had a bunch of yeses, but we get a couple more, and it's all. Before I go any further and start putting things down on paper, and I'll fill you guys in as to what it is. It's not a big secret, but I mean it's just an affiliate type of thing. And let someone please, make a motion to call a meeting.
Me?
We done? Yeah.
I second.
Thank you. Thanks for your time, fellas.
Hey,
I swear.
Sherry,
We'll
give me
get down to an
control
hour and a
back
half.
before you log off.
What's that?
I'm
Give me
sorry.
control back before you log off,
Okay.
because I have to close the recording and everything.
I
Okay,
think you just did.
got it. Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for.
I'll have a
Thank
file.
you.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
All right.
I'll have a file here, Sherry, so we can I can figure how we can load it up to the website.
Yeah, good job on that, on the financials. That look good. We're back in balance.
I think, Greg, you can upload it through YouTube. I figured it out for the last meeting, so see if it lets you do it easily. I don't know if it's the same with this software, but we can figure it out.
Okay. Well, it's a file, and you had to load up a file before, so a file's a file.
Yeah, so if you go on YouTube and just say you want to convert it, there's a little thing that you do, and it does it for you. It takes a while, but it does it.
Okay. How long does
You
YouTube
just post that link.
How long does YouTube keep that stuff?
I think indefinitely. I don't know.
Really? Wow. Okay. All right. Well, let me find out, because what I have
Well,
to
that's a place to park it, to archive it, you're saying.
Yeah, what I've got to figure out is how big the file is. Okay, if it's how many megabytes or gigabytes or whatever because of the video. And then I've got to extrapolate that over 12 months and then see if we have to buy additional memory, cloud space.
Yeah.
To be able to
This whole thing, Greg, it's cheaper than 2 meetings for the entire year.
Right.
Well, and it's not that bad. It's only like $20 a gig or something. It's not
That's what I'm saying. It's whatever you got to do there. It is infinitesimally cheaper than anything else. The start off tonight was a little bit, stop and start. We finally got through it, and I'm not good at getting this moving faster. I mean, I'm not very good at it to start with. So, but I mean, as we get further along, we'll get better at using this technology. I think the switch back and forth will be more ready next time, and we'll talk about that before.
I mean,
As to how it's going to be, it'll be minutes, financials,
Right.
minutes, and then all of the examples of the executive committee meeting. Are they new glasses, Sharon?
No.
You just don't wear them, huh?
Well, I have to if I want to see you.
Right. Well,
No.
you take them off for that matter.
No, they're just
It ain't that good.
Dollar store, dollar store.
It gives you a Middle Eastern look. I like it. You know?
Oh, there you go.
You look like Sonia Hamadeh, you know.
Right? This is my, the good thing you can only see from the face up.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a cold. Is that?
I'm kind of sick, yeah.
But listen, now, see, with this technology, I mean, it would have been an ass buster to get all the way to the.
Yeah, I would have, because I'm really not feeling well. So I've been sitting here with my blanket and my.
We're starting off as a little rough. We got done though. I mean,
Yeah.
but for the first time, I'm pretty happy with this, Greg. If we just get more used to it, I don't know how you can do that, but.
Well, it's just a matter.
You don't do it often enough, yeah.
It's just a matter of knowing where everything's at here, the screen share. The problem is I had everything preloaded on this damn laptop, and then it went away. It went somewhere. I had the financials already, QuickBook already up. I had the bank statement already. Everything was up and then hidden on the, I minimized everything. And when I went,
we'll talk about this. I'll probably do it by phone. The difference between our P&L and the bank balance is a head scratcher, because I know last year, Sherry, not overspent. I don't mean it that way. We were all slightly over budget, slightly. That wouldn't have left any surplus. I don't know how long we've been holding on to the surplus in that. Maybe we have been, and it's just been rolling. I don't know that.
I think, but I gotta be honest, like, I never was too involved on that side of it.
Well, I mean, but you're a finance. You actually understand this QuickBooks thing or everything else. Our P&L shows us with about 60,000 left to spend, which makes sense. We're halfway through. We got about 125, so we're roughly pretty good. Last year we were slightly over budget. Slightly. I mean, we did real well. Staying inside the budget. But it didn't leave a $40,000 surplus, because the difference between the 60 that we technically have left and 110 that's in the bank is $50,000.
Right.
I mean, I could see if QuickBooks was off that much, but
well, it's not though, Greg. In other words, QuickBooks
the bank is the bank. It's what's in there.
The bank's the ultimate thing. They're the right ones.
Exactly.
And
so
QuickBooks is it's not wrong because it's picking up all of the expenses. It's not short on expenses. We're about right. 60,000 is right. Well, let me put it this way. We're not 50,000 off. I guarantee you that at 60. We're roughly, I mean, I have the numbers in my mind and I'm fairly good with them. That's about right. Our budget's around 125. We're 6 months in at the end of December.
Right.
And we may have some payables, and a few little receivables. But 50,000 is a lot, so there's some reason I'll look at that. I don't know why. It's a positive thing, it's not a negative, but I don't know what it is. It's not QuickBooks, Greg. It's not that you're short, because 60, you're showing around 60,000 in the expenses. We haven't spent 110, or we haven't even budgeted. We only collected 133. We got 110 left.
Well, yeah.
Okay, that's my point. So we've had to drag the surplus for a couple of years, which I was unaware of. But
I think we probably have, because.
You think so?
Well, I'm just thinking back before Linda and all that. Like, we used to have like $300,000 or something.
Oh, I know. Well, at one point it became alarming almost, and I think those guys, the board at the time, it seemed to me, we're finding ways to spend it, because you're not supposed to have $300,000.
Right. Yeah.
Federal
So
government
I
rate
feel like that's probably, it's just kind of rolled over and over and over. Right.
But if I thought we dragged that out and put it in a money market.
There is like 100 in the money market or something.
Yes. Yeah. And it may be that we drag another 25 over there or whatever. In other words, this year I'll be more aware of that. But it has to be, Greg, where we'd look, it would be the starting numbers on July 1st. the bank numbers. If the bank says 50,000, that's the answer.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? In other words, the bank balance, the difficult thing, I don't like this, and I would change it next year, is having those two accounts, one which feeds the other one. Now, I understand, I was given the logic of it. It didn't make sense to me, but I understand it. It just didn't make sense. I wasn't going to argue with Linda because she was adamant about it. But somewhere along the line, we're receiving money in one account. We're transferring it to another account, except for payroll. We're transferring it to the other account to spend it. And somewhere in there, Greg, so you'd see at the end of, on July 31st, what you'd have to just check real quick of last year is what were the balances of both those accounts.
Both accounts, okay.
Yeah, because that will tell you what we dragged over, right, Linda? Does that make sense?
Right.
Now, if it's 50,000, that makes sense. But I know from a budgetary standpoint, last year we were slightly over, maybe 2,000 over or 4,000 over, not much. So that we ate into that a little bit. So that if we've been dragging it along for years, then but it shouldn't be sitting in the checking account. That's my thing. You might keep an extra 10 in there just so you don't overspend, but you can always move the money back. If that's the case, we should move, at some point, we'll move it into the money market too.
Or you'll have money to fund some of the projects that you want to talk about.
Yeah. It just doesn't need to be in an operating account because it's,
Sure.
we're pretty good on our budget. We might be a little bit over this year, only because of the switch over from Linda. We're going to accumulate more house, but we're not going to be over by 30,000 or anything close to that.
Right.
We'll see where we get. I wouldn't touch it before the end of the year, but it is a question. There is not a discrepancy. There's a difference, and it's a positive difference, but there's a reason for that difference. And I just,
Shouldn't you be able to pull the reports through June 30th and see where?
Well, no, it'd be the bank balance, Sherry. It'd just be the bank balance. In other words, whatever the bank said you had on the 31st of July, because we're pretty much of a cash business. We have some accruals, but they're not enough to